Bearing in mind that you had the characters in your mind and you created the books first, and now the films have come after, has anything on the films influenced your writing, would you say?
I have no idea. I probably has. I'm sure it has. I have to say, I love the films, and people are often surprised by that because, you know, there are many differences between the books and the films. But the reason that I love the, and Bonnie, you know, when they took a different, it hasn't always been easy for me, that. I don't want to sort of make it out that that's easy, you know, because to start off with, they took a very close, kind of, very close to my books, and then they took a different direction, and Bonnie flew over from America to tell me, and so I had to be open-minded to them taking that.
It was scary.
It was.
That was
a difficult
meeting.
That was a difficult meeting.
I was sweating.
Those books are your most, you know,
they're
precious
my
things.
babies, you know. That,
and somebody's
and
now come over from Hollywood land to try and steal your stuff.
Let me tell you how we've changed it, by the way.
Exactly. It's difficult. It's not easy. But I trusted Bonnie because I love Toy Story. Lilo and Stitch was which Dean directed, was a movie that was an incredible movie to be made at Disney at that time. So it was sort of a leap of faith for me, and so I sort of I always say my opinion. I said my mind, but I went with it, and I think I was rewarded by a movie that I feel is very close to the spirit of what I'm trying to do in the books. It's funny and exciting, but it also has this feeling of wonder, of this world of wonder. What would it be like to be on the back of a dragon? What would it be like to live in this world in which dragons really exist? With this hero who is not a usual Hollywood hero. You know, Hickok's big thing is empathy. He's, you know, which is quite a complicated, you don't often get a hero whose big heroic thing is empathy.
And within these big kind of, you know, sort of talking about the big kind of fantasy element, but actually these really fundamentally kind of human issues, like we've just seen then, you know, father and son relationships is a very key sort of, part of this film.
It's all about my relationship with my father, that's all there. And, you know, saving the environment. I mean, it's the environmental themes, the anti-war themes, all of those themes that are in my 12-book series are all in the movies. So I think I was incredibly lucky. I feel incredibly lucky.
Quite kind of crucial in this, now Dean kind of takes over as writer for the second film, in the sense that, you know, your characters are there, and I know that you have a very particular relationship, but you know, the story, because they're both very different mediums, they have kind of now gone to different directions. And I wonder if you can just tell us a little bit from your point of view about sort of the evolution into the second film, and then sort of and Dean as well, obviously, then in terms of what. So well, maybe start with Dean, and then how you've kind of brought Cressida in during the process.
Sure. Well, I was just aware, you know, as all of you are, that there are so many bad sequels out there, and I think it's often because they feel unnecessary, and people repeat themselves. So I thought, well, if they want a sequel, maybe the way to approach this is to craft it as a trilogy, and the first film serving as the first act, that this would be the bold second act, and there would be a third act that would culminate, in my mind, with the opening of Cressida's book, which starts with Hiccup in voiceover saying, "There were dragons when I was a boy," which to me was so compelling because it seems as though you're telling this story of a chapter on Earth, the Earth that we know, that had dragons crawling all over it, and that it would come to a sense of a conclusion, however mysterious that might be. So the studio bought into this idea, and it let us draw upon threads from the second film and set up things that would be paid off in this third film that we're now embarking on. But it also allowed us to jump forward in time and actually meet Hiccup at a different crossroads in his life, a different rite of passage that's also very universal and most of us have gone through, which is that moment of defining yourself, you know, when you have these very overbearing parents and a society that's trying to tell you what you are going to become. And so that was my take on it, and I told Cressida about it when we were here. We were lucky enough to be nominated for a BAFTA on the first film. And so Cressida and I sat having tea one day, and I told her about the plan for it. And as always, she has great ideas, and like she said, she's not shy to share them with us, and I love that. I do love that because I consider her a crucial collaborator. And so we kind of shaped, you know, what that second film became, and we will continue to do so with the third as well.